back of the ship, and it will follow us where we go. But at this depth, not only is it laid back from moves from the ship, but also any current, subsurface current is affecting it as well. What is this?
I have no idea.
I'm not familiar with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's come full wide again.
Help us, science team.
It looks similar to Chrysogorgia that we saw before, but it's different than that one as well.
Just the teeniest, finest polyps.
Polyps, yeah. So
Yeah.
tiny.
Which
Let's
is
come
really
down to
Nigerian,
25.
right?
We're kind of tail to tail at this point. I'm going to have to back up, but I want to get one more good zoom on this. Aaron, let's zoom.
Yeah, you're being pulled away from it.
Yeah.
And tether tug. All right. Full wide. I'm going to come towards you. And you can come back up to 28 as I come towards you.
Super cool. Hi to Revere who wrote in from UCSB Tech Trek. Yes, Scott Simon is on board right now. He is sitting in the same seat I am sitting in, but for the 12 to 4 team. So tune in about 4 hours and he'll be on board. If you want to learn more about anyone else who is on board, check out the team tab. Everybody has a photo and a bio there about their background and what brought them to the ship. Advice if you're interested in having a career like theirs. And brand new this year, we have new career pages where you can actually dive in a little bit to the different roles that are here, learn about some of the kinds of education pathways people have taken to get onto Nautilus and into the control van, into our seats, and how you could do the same thing too.
And the internship program's open.
The internship program is open, Aaron. Tell me more.
Oh,
113 exact,
it's
huh?
open.
213.
213. That makes
So
a lot more sense.
a really great way to
213.2.
get on the Nautilus is to go through the internship program, and it's for current students or recent graduates. And you could be a video engineer intern, an ROV intern, and science
So I'm
intern.
going to go down to follow this wall, so you'll have to come down.
Seafloor mapping intern or a science communication fellow. So check it out.
Yes. And you can learn more on the education tab of Nautilus Live. Applications close in January. Apply for these programs. Make my job hard by having to read a lot of really good applications.
As it settles, I may attempt to look at the DVL, but it hasn't been reset in quite a while, but we don't have a reason to think it's much different, but I think it's probably a little bit like that. Yeah. So as I understand, when we were tracking to the northeast, the speed of the ship, they set the track line at 1.5, but they were only making about 0.3 or 0.4.
Right.
In this other direction, southwest, I expect a little bit better conditions in that direction as far as capability goes, so I might try to set it just at 0.5 and see how much we're making and then add speed.
Okay. Let's see.
Unless, Chad, you have another
heading to 213.
Another speed you'd like to shoot for.
No, that I think that last whole transect, because these transects are a little more than a half nautical mile. Took more than 4 hours, so
your goals are way off
struggle.
real numbers.
Yeah, I'm hoping for
I think there's
for
a lot of
2+
That'd be
hours
great.
on
ship's
this,
kind of heaving.
this direction.
Yeah, because we got about 11 hours left on bottom time, so I'm hoping to get at least 2 more transects in, if not 3, but we'll see if we can do it.
Sounds like a good goal. Half a knot for around a kilometer, is that what you were saying? 1.2? Yeah, it should be, we'll see if we can make it in about 2 hours.
Oh, hello.
Grenadier.
Traffic jam. So yeah, we're expecting to have more than 12 hours left in this dive. Be back on deck sometime around lunchtime tomorrow. So we're here with the 8 to 12 team. 12 to 4 will take over, 4 to 8, and another rotation of that.
This last little Argus shimmy takes a bit of time. boom, it's there.
So that little
Powers of USBL, yeah.
Okay, does anybody, while we get settled out and haven't started this transect yet, does anyone have an introduction question they're excited about today? I want to give you the opportunity.
I don't know about excited about. I'm running through all the ones that have been used this year. We had title sock, favorite root vegetable.
Yeah.
Second favorite fruit, yes.
Yeah.
See, the root vegetable one became popular. It turned out every watch ended up talking about that.
Yeah.
It's the goal. You gotta like put those little worms.
I don't know if that is the goal there, but
is root beer a valid answer?
Counts as a vegetable.
Yeah.
A loose interpretation.
Sure it does. You know, if there's any like little 5-year-old explorers out there, I will count it for you. You can say root beer is a vegetable. The Nautilus team told you so.
You know somebody's gonna use that on Mom.
Oh, I know. Or yeah, or Dad.
All right, let's
Whoever.
see.
All right, viewers. So let us know if you have an introduction question that you are dying to hear. This is not the last dive of the season.
It was a vegetable.
Is Argus, do you think, still moving? It would be.
Yes.
Yep, to the right, to Argus starboard. Been a steady shift.
And backwards.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, just a little couple bit more of that, and then we'll start our transect, and I'll let you know, Jamie.
All right, I'm going to hold position for a moment and nudge this back onto the porch a little more.
All right, I've got it. Let's go. Name, seat in the control van. I don't know how many times you've been on Nautilus or seasons or something to that effect. And favorite sampler on Nautilus or favorite sampling style.
Could you do data?
Like sure, you could do data, sensor.
Can you say video footage?
No, Aaron, you cannot. No, you specifically cannot. Everyone else can.
No, like a sampling
you can choose
method, sort of. You're sampling the visual data.
No, the video data is one of the most important data products.
Don't go that
Paul's
far.
a team player.
Forgot he's feeling sassy.
All right, back row, you're gonna start, please.
Okay. Oh, do you want to start, Chad? Okay. I am Jamie. I'm in the data logger position.
Yeah, we're still doing that because I held position
for a little bit. I've been out with Nautilus for 7 seasons, and my favorite, was it sampling technique?
Yeah, or sensor.
I mean, I've got to say the manipulator arm.
Okay.
Specifically squeezers or temperature?
Not
rocks?
slurp, not temperature, just like grabbing things and picking them up.
Do you have a preferred jaw configuration?
Not coral cutters. The
Not
normal claw.
Okay.
That's my favorite.
Normal.
She's a purist.
A purist, you're right. All right, back row.
All right, I'll go next. Amity just came in, so I think we have to inform her of the question. So this is Chad King. I'm from Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary, the lead scientist on this cruise. This is my second time on the Nautilus. And
Stand by octopus. Is it a girl?
Oh, he or she is hiding the arm. And my favorite sampling technique, just because there's something cathartic about the slurp gun.
Man, that's what I was
slurp it up, and then it's kind of waiting for that prize to come out of the machine and into the cylinder. It's that moment of suspense, so I kind of like that.
Nice.
Okay, I'm kind of thinking that we're kind of good enough to start this transect. How far away are you from Argus here? It
Do you want me
says
to
that
zoom
you're
out, Greg?
50, which is not right.
No,
so
we're good.
I kind of think that you're closer to there.
I don't think I'm 50.
No,
Yeah.
I know you're not 50.
Okay.
That would be...
Yeah, I'd buy that.
Yeah, just a little bit further back. All right, are you ready for a imaginary reset?
Yeah, I'm ready for an imaginary reset.
Okay.
Do you have a way to
All
clear
right, Jamie,
old data points from that?
I can, yeah. Jamie, we just reset the DVL.
Copy that, thanks.
Yeah.
Button. There we go.
Yeah, I'm going to start at 213. I think Argus will start to settle towards the line. And we'll trend Hercules towards that line once we get started. Are you good to go?
Let me...
Are you going to auto do this?
No, I'm just getting lined up.
Yeah.
All right, back row, let's have another introduction. Who else is back there? Amity?
How's that current?
Hey everybody, this
Current-ish.
is Amity Wood with Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary, the Education and Outreach
Good.
Coordinator. And
Bridge
geez,
nav.
I don't know, can't beat the slurper. That's a good one. That's very exciting.
We'd like to track a line bearing 213, speed 0.5 knots. Yeah, let me just measure that real quick. Oh yeah, rough estimate. 1100 meters.
Awesome, Amity, and how many times?
0.5, and if we're struggling to make that speed, we may crank it a little bit higher, but I think we'll try that for now.
Yeah, this is my second time.
Thank you, George.
Awesome.
No longer a newbie, a noob.
You're a shellback.
Are you Shellback?
A shellback?
I am.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Tell us all about that, Dane.
I crossed the
Can.
equator.
Nice.
In truth, you can't.
Sworn
on
to secrecy.
No, on the Tobago.
On the Tobago.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Okay. That's very exciting. I have done that, but actually I have done that on a ship before.
I had to bow homage to
Yeah.
a terrible, greasy,
Neptune?
hairy
Oh,
belly
an
of
engineer, yep.
Neptune. It was awful.
That was probably the baby, actually.
He doubled as the cook on the ship.
Always treat the cooks well.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, Dane, you want to give us an introduction?
Sure, yeah, Dane Harden. This is my second time on Nautilus, and
ahead, Data.
I'm here to assist the sanctuary, Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary, in characterizing persistent organic pollutants in the deep ocean. And I mean, it's tough to decide what my favorite sampler is. I mean, I haven't seen them all, right?
Right.
But I think the name that just kind of grabs me, it's like, what is that, was the squeeze sampler. It's like, what? How does that work? Anyway, yeah, it's a pretty elegant instrument, and it works most of the time.
It's really all you could hope for.
That's right.
Can also be referred to as the squizometer.
Squizometer.
Ooh, I
Yeah,
like
but
that.
what's it? It's not measuring squeeze, right?
It is not.
That's
Measuring total squeeze.
total.
Squeeze volume.
No. Right.
Total
It's
squeeze
binary.
in volume
It's binary.
of seawater.
Squeeze yes or squeeze no.
That's right. That's right.
Chad, are you happy with this distance from the seafloor?
Yeah, this is
We're
fine.
at about 7.5 meters, but we can see that octopus, so.
Exactly. As long as we can kind of resolve individual octopus, that's great.
And you're okay, we're a little bit off the line. I think as Argus starts to settle a bit more towards the ship, we can bump Hercules, we can trend it towards the line, but for right now.
Yeah, you know, it's
Or
it's a loose guideline.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, then there was that plus or minus thing for the line, the track line that you did the other day.
Oh, I can do, yeah.
We got all kinds of fancy options.
Fanciness.
All right, Rennie.
Renato Kane.
Renato Welkane.
Welkane. That's my middle name.
Welk.
Renato Mundo Kane.
My seat in the van is a Herman Miller Aeron chair. This is my 40-second cruise on EV Nautilus. And my favorite sampler, I'll go out of the box, was the dredge, which enables us to install caissons on the seafloor.
Bold choice.
That we put seismometers in that are connected to Ocean Network Canada's Cable Network Observatory, and then we fill that with glass beads to kind of take some of the vibration, any natural vibration of the sediment out of the instrument readings. But yeah, in order to do that, you have this big PVC tube that's probably 3 feet across or something like that. And slowly hammer that into the
32-inch.
Yeah, is it? Yeah.
So.
Slowly hammer that into the seafloor and dredge more sediment out, put it down. But it's really funny to watch from Argus because the dredge is like a vacuum that Herc's holding with the craft arm into just a hole. You can't really see it. And then out of the back, if you look in Argus, there's like this stream of exhaust.
Yeah.
That looks
exhaust mud, yeah.
Like Hercules is a diesel truck.
We can move dirt when we want to.
You guys have a permit for that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sanctuary doesn't allow that without a permit, right?
We do. We look like a little like Tonka truck or something.
Yeah, it's really funny.
All this dirt needs to go.
It's like, don't turn around. You won't be able to see.
Yeah, and it goes pretty far because when you drive over it later, you'll see like the different color of the sediment from a layer below. The ship's still moving backwards, so. Or Argus is still moving backwards.
Argus will soon be moving forwards because the ship is now moving backwards.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Sounds very philosophical.
Right. What is forwards?
All right, Greg, you're up.
My name is Greg Diffendale, and to follow Rennie, I have a captain's chair that's bolted to the floor.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit different.
Lucky.
It comes with lumbar support, and
Is that heated seats too?
it is not heated seats, but that was one of the options. We decided that it wasn't necessary.
Depends on your previous Herc pilot.
And is that a refrigerator on the floor right next to you?
No, but I have an intern, so we can share it. I don't know, you kind of broke the code. It wasn't a sampler, that's a tool.
I said tool. You can bring a tool if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not sampling that. Well, the seismometer is making samples.
Ah.
It's a means to get it. I
It's a
cheated. I still
means to
cheated.
an end.
I'll admit it.
Currently on the vehicle as a sampler, I would probably go with the slurp. Tool, though, I'd have to go with the linesman knives that we have.
I was gonna go with pirate knife. Nice.
Yeah, the knives.
Do you like the hook one or
Oh,
the
yeah.
or the stab Easter one?
I got the hook ones against. I pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. It's basically what it came down to. And eventually they got them, and now they're a regular order.
They are an important part of Rennie's favorite tool.
They are for getting in those
bags.
The caissons with the Victorinox knives that were just serrated.
Hey
knives.
guys,
People
I hate to break in here, but it's time off for the pump.
Sure.
Time off.
Yep.
That's what that. You know what that sound means. It's.
Yep.
I'm
That's
afraid it's
right.
the end of our time here.
All right, pump is off.
What will
That's
happen
it.
next week on What is
Oh,
Paul's
that's like,
favorite
that's
sampler?
like the
That's one of
very
them.
end.
I'll just, I'll go to bed and just leave my timer
That's
here.
like the very end of
That's the
sampling. We're
end.
done.
Yep.
Got your
That's
10
it.
hours?
Yep,
Okay.
that's my 10 hours.
All right. It's one big check off the list.
One big check off the list.
Great.
Yeah, I don't know if we can. Yeah, you can't see it with the main HD, but yeah, in terms of what Rennie was talking about with the glass beads and the caissons. With the Victorinox, everybody just stabs at the bag and then it kind of like drains out. And with the hooked knife, you can literally go in at the top, slit all the way down the bag, set down the knife and stick the jaw in and open it up, and you can empty the bag in seconds.
Call now. We'll send you 2 hook knives for your caisson installation needs.
But from a piloting standpoint, and you do have to cut something at the seafloor, it's very difficult to cut something or anything at arm's length, right? And that's with one hand, and that's pretty much what we're doing.
Yeah.
So by having the hook, we can, it makes it much easier.
Yeah.
Speed of the
same
ship
like
has
motion.
Either that or the slurp, because the slurp is fun.
The speed of the ship has been between 0.2 and 0.8, so it's making our half a knot that we're asking for. Argus is just starting to move.
Good.
All right.
And we're not concerned about a constant speed?
No, this isn't going to be for densities. We're going to look for a minimum number of octopus in all of these transects.
All right, Paul, talk to us.
Hi everyone, my name is Paul Glick, and tonight I'm piloting Argus.
Look at that. My heading is just creeping.
My PhD research is focused on robotic grippers, so I'll say that my favorite tool is the one that I haven't finished building yet.
Is it squishy robot fingers?
I'm working on making squishy robot fingers that also work better in extreme environments.
Okay.
So trying to take some of the principles and then use less squishy materials that will actually hold up in space and in the deep ocean.
Yeah, see, my goal's just running away.
Do you have auto heading on?
What are some of the problems with squishy fingers in space?
What are
the
some
goal
of the
should be static.
What are some of the
changing
problems?
Right.
Materials are a big challenge. So in a vacuum, anything that's not designed for that vacuum can outgas. Little particles can leave, and then those little particles might bind to something like your glass, which is coating your optics. So you can't have, you know, this little bit of outgassing that could then destroy kind of your $1 million camera that's keeping your spacecraft positioned. So.
So you need something squishy that is not porous.
Well, it's not even about porosity. It's just the material itself in a vacuum can be slightly volatile.
So are you creating these materials, or do you have like a menu of approved materials you can choose from?
Good question, Megan.
Yeah, great question. So there are a lot of space-qualified silicones that can there's also really extreme temperature swings. And so there are space-qualified silicones that are used a lot for seals and gaskets, things like that, O-rings. But they might not be as stretchy and have as much elasticity as I might like for some of the actuators that you see in the field of soft robotics. So I'm thinking about some of the techniques that roboticists are using to get compliance. And can we copy those techniques maybe with metals? With,
Jamie, we're moving forward now.
With materials where you don't have those issues to begin with.
Okay. How soon can we play with your robotic hands on Nautilus? Like, when can we bring them out for testing?
Hopefully I'll be able to bring it out next year. I just need to build it and ask for permission.
Oh, okay. Just that.
So you have materials selected?
I mean, my goal would be to use something like stainless. I have basically 2 ideas that I'm working towards over the next year on my PhD. One will certainly still use kind of a mix of soft and hard materials. That might not be easy to space qualify, but at least could validate some of the principles. And then I have another one that I'm hoping could be made purely out of metal, potentially stainless steel, so it could work without issues of corrosion or anything like that, and more similar to a traditional robotic gripper.
You might be able to step still more over to starboard as we can keep trending.
I'm coming up a little bit.
Yeah.
So what does a dissertation look like in your field? Do you have to publish?
Yeah, so
this is all wrong.
our advisor has nicely laid out some kind of initial targets of getting 3 journal papers during our PhD. And after that, the dissertation, you know, you kind of stitch them together and explain how they all kind of relate. So the dissertation is kind of the combination of your published work throughout your PhD.
Any patents?
I'm coming up more.
None yet.
And they wouldn't belong to you anyway, would they?
Both UCSD and JPL, I think, are pretty good about sharing some of the rights, but yeah, they would belong to them.
Yep.
Yeah, keep coming up.
So your program is split
between
between UCSD and JPL?
So my I'm a UC San Diego PhD student, but I'm funded under the NASA Space Technology Research Fellowship Program.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That's very cool.
That's
Starting.
all right, Aaron, you ready for introductions?
I guess so.
We are-
I have
we
to
are
follow
gonna-
up someone who made their own favorite. I'm feeling very inadequate.
Spoiler alert, I'm going to be like, it's the
I think it was
scoop, so it's going to be better than my answer. Go for it.
My name is Erin Rainey. I am the video engineer for the 8 to 12 watch. This is my 3rd season. And my favorite tool for sampling, Dr. Brennan's bioluminescence camera. I know I'm not allowed to say video, but I'm rebelling, and I'm saying it anyways. That was pretty fun when we had that mounted a couple years ago.
Still coming up.
Tell us more. What was that all about?
Yeah, there's some kind of feature in front of you.
We would
Yeah, we got a wall in front of me, so we'll be coming up more and more.
We would turn off the lights on the ROV and try to pick up bioluminescence. So he had a special camera that he had built, placed on the ROV Hercules.
Oh, and I've been coming out since 2010.
Yeah, Greg came with the ship.
We just
can't even have a good sample thing.
Greg came with the ship.
Then he took a sabbatical away, and then we brought him back.
Yeah.
One of the ship.
Still coming up.
There we go.
He
Greg
can't
was
leave.
a
He'll never
design
get
feature
away.
of the ship. Yeah.
Little bent of
Oh, look at that little one. Your turn.
I'm Megan Cook. I am sitting in the Science Communication Fellow seat. This is my 7th Nautilus season.
Me too.
Same with Rennie, same with Jamie.
Yay.
We all arrived at the same time. Good year for Nautilus. My favorites. I like some of the everyday ones. I was going to say Pirate Knife, but Greg already mentioned them. I do like the scoop.
The scoop is pretty awesome.
It just really makes me laugh when we are using, all of the technology and all of the expense and all of the, collective brains and creativity of all these people, and that doesn't always mean the answer has to be ridiculously complex, right?
You gotta undo it.
You can use all of that talent, and sometimes the best thing to use is still, a big barley scoop, like a big plastic scoop.
Have you seen our paintbrush?
T-Boss.
Yeah. Yes, I have. I have seen the T-Boss.
Well, we used to do for archaeology. We have a paintbrush and a rake and
and the dustpan that brought back the heavy metal T-shirt that was definitely not historic fabric from the seafloor, but we thought it was. And
the T-Boss, which does not sample, is a great example of expensive and cheap science. The T-Boss is the toilet brush of science. It goes down on Hercules and
brushes off the camera lens of
it's a camera lens and a sonar bell down on it for
quick question, Chad.
Yeah.
So when we're on this transect, is it okay for us to zoom in on stuff?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Let's make that clear. We can absolutely zoom in on stuff, and obviously if we're ahead of the ship and we want to stop, that's fine. But even if it's really interesting, I mean, it has to be knock our socks off to want to stop the ship.
Right,
but
right.
we can
But
absolutely
like
zoom in
on
and zoom out.
transit
Yes.
is okay.
Yeah.
So it might be helpful if we zoomed in on some of these octopuses so we can tell if they're brooding position versus not.
Sure.
Yeah, so far the 4 or 5 I've seen are all mantle up, not brooding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that one over in the corner.
Yeah, that one does not appear to be.
Video, zoom on stuff. We have permission.
So yeah, if you, I know it's way left, but you can try.
Just at will at anything.
If another jellyfish comes.
I also like the flux capacitor just because it gave me a lot of reason in my professional work environment to say flux capacitor like many times an hour. So that was great.
Are there sponges down there? What was that in the right?
Weird sponges.
Weird sponges.
So viewers, thank you for sending in all your questions. It's fun to have you with us from all around the world.
It's just that right, huh?
We have all kinds of questions during introduction. So we can kind of go rapid fire through this. Dane, are microplastics included as part of POP?
No, they are not. Although, you know, we do suck them in, but we don't categorize them separate from any of the other stuff that comes through the sampler. So
that is expected.
They could be classified, but there's no way chemically to measure them. In the process that we're using to analyze and quantify the persistent organic pollutants, the microplastics are complex molecules of their own that are not in the suite of chemicals that we're measuring. So,
gotcha. Okay, back row. Do you suppose at this depth, even though it is pitch dark down here, that these animals have different types of light-seeing structures in their eyes? What do we know about vision down here in the deep, deep sea?
Well, down here there is no light, not even a little glimpse of the sun. However, there is a lot of bioluminescence. A lot of the organisms down here have adapted to produce their own light, and so they still have functioning eyes, at least most of the higher creatures, certainly the fishes and the cephalopods, etc. And so there are still reasons to have a vision, even though these animals have been down here for eons. They still need to communicate. Some of them will use bioluminescence to attract prey. Some will use them to confuse prey. Some of them will use it as mimicry, so they look like a predator or dangerous creature. Some of them use them for mating rituals or mating cues or just communication between the species. So there's definitely a lot of reasons down here. A lot of the little critters in the water too. A lot of the plankton can light up as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was the neat part about the low light camera that Aaron mentioned as a favorite sampling tool, was that we were specifically looking for bioluminescence, and we found it, which was it was just very hard to capture on camera.
Looks like Argus came a bit more starboard.
Yeah, I'm gonna slide over.
But that low light camera did capture the vampire squid footage and the first of
deep staria.
Deep staria, yeah.
Is the image in full focus, or is it just my aging eyes?
I think we have a little bit of a high altitude.
Yeah.
And, but once we're creeping back over to that line. Argus ended up swinging. It's dead on the line, which is good for us. But then we're getting hurt over there.
Yeah, when you're this high above it, it doesn't look like it, but that is.
Gotcha.
All right, Rennie, next rapid fire question for you is, have we explored this area before? How far are we from the original octopus garden?
Yeah, we have explored this area last year. This actual ground, as far as Nautilus is concerned, no, we have not. But we are in the same general region, over the same geologic feature that we've been studying. The original octopus garden is somewhere around 600 meters away, and we're actually driving towards it. So we are running transect lines over this feature for a visual assessment of population and
more octopus gardens.
Yeah.
More
see if there's any other concentrations of these vent sites and or octopus breeding areas.
Awesome. Amity, next rapid fire questions for you. Where are we right now?
We are in the southeast corner of Davidson's Seamount Management Zone, which is part of Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary.
Tell me more.
That's about, I would say about, we're about 60 miles or so off the coast.
Yeah, 50 to 60
50 to
miles.
60 miles off the coast of a place called Cambria, which is our southern boundary of Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. And Davidson Seamount was obviously thought of as a very special place when it was first kind of underwater explored back in the early 2000s. Lots of interesting discoveries were happening, and we kind of knew this was a special place and knew it needed some level of protection. And through a process, a public process, the Seamount Management Zone was added into the sanctuary officially in 2008, long before, actually about 10 years.
Is it possible to straddle this wall a little bit?
Yep.
That's okay if we can't. But this is one of the most vertical features I've seen on this feature on the seafloor.
Seems to have a lot of.
We saw
ledges.
There was a lot of vertical transects earlier today, similar to this.
Yeah, it's interesting how it just drops off like that, whereas towards the top in this feature, it's not really like that. A lot of sponges. Where's Amanda?
Yeah, a lot
She's
of sponges.
taking a well-deserved nap.
I said the word sponge though, so maybe her ears perked up.
She has sprung out of bed.
She already dreams
with
about
a leap
sponges.
and a bound.
Yeah.
But she knows so much about all the other invertebrates.
Yes, she does.
She does.
Well, she's an invertebrate zoology professor. In fact, she
is.
replaced my invertebrate zoology professor at Moss Landing Marine Labs.
Is that
nice?
right?
Yes.
What was the palm frond sponge?
That was it. Palm frond sponge.
Yep.
You nailed it.
That's not its real name. It's actually
Jamie, you came in real hot and then don't have the.
I was going to say, move over, Amanda. Greg's here. Palm frond sponge. Funny looking sponge.
I'm just trying to represent her while she's having her rest.
No, it wasn't one that we saw here. It was just I
No,
was
but on the
remembering from the last
previous
cruise.
cruise, she was very interested in that one that we collected. It's part of the Asbestopluma species, potentially. Maybe it's a different genus. It's currently under investigation by Amanda. So yeah, she's looking into that that group right now, trying to determine whether it's a new species or a new genus.
Well, that was her who was typing in telling us to sample it?
It was. I didn't realize
awesome.
it at the time, but yeah, that was
Yeah,
her.
that was why I was mentioned that she'd be on the next one, and I remembered her enthusiasm from last year.
So Chad, who did
alive and
Amanda replace?
Dr. Jonathan Geller. So I was at Moss Landing from 99 to 03. And then Amanda came in as a student of Geller's, I believe, sometime in 2007. So we did not overlap, but I got to know her well through a couple of cruises with Mbari because she did her postdoc there. And so she has that relationship with Jim Barry, so she came out on cruises. And of course the common history of John Geller and Moss Landing and
Your
zoology.
is whatever that says.
But then she went on to get her PhD and came back to Mbari.
That's my rate.
And now
She's constantly
Dr. Geller is retiring and she's replacing him.
Okay, that's great. What a great addition.
Yeah.
So far in this transect, I think we've seen 2 octopuses, maybe 3.
There were 4 or 5 in the very beginning.
Yeah.
They were off in the periphery. But yes, not too many. Yeah, I would love to spend all 30 plus hours of the dive where all of the octopus are, but
yeah, well, you're right. This is very important work to kind of get the extent of everything, and it hasn't been fully explored, so you never know. Could find another hot pocket.
Now I'm thinking of Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah, this is definitely the part. This is the part of the dive I definitely was like really excited.
So there's a big comedy bit that he does with Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets.
You'd think we're sponsored, but we're not.
Yeah, not a sponsor.
Not a
Hashtag
sponsor.
not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. But could be.
Way to leave that door open there.
We accept all donations.
Right.
Yeah. We certainly do. Check out the donate button.
There's a big push for their sea cucumber flavor that's coming out.
Fund our Hot Pocket
we could give us a little
account.
Product placement.
Yeah.
Right.
Just see it on the Nautilus Live Instagram takeover.
See it on
all
Herc's
the time.
porch. Oh, it's right next to this knife. There seems to be a Hot Pocket.
My favorite sampler is
the Hot Pocket.
The microwave.
There's one more.
There's
3,000.
Non-brooding posture.
Okay, so we're bringing it all back together. Paul, what would a microwave need to be made out of to work at 2,000 meters? Or in space? The next design challenge.
So one of the things that's interesting.
I don't even know how to begin to answer that question.
So Chad, it seems like we're kind of like this line happens to be right along this wall here.
Escarpment, yeah.
I think, you know what, that's just great. I mean, it'd be interesting to find if there's any conduits of water coming out as we kind of parallel this hill. I was going to say the Nautilus mapped this area in 2017 and 2018, and another pixel resolution, I believe, is around 25 or 30 meters. So what that means is every pixel has a depth and an XY coordinate, and it represents roughly a 30 by 30 meter patch on the seafloor. So you put them all together, and it kind of reminds me of those little pin cushion boards as kids where you can put your hand in, and it shows you the shape of your hand. So it's a virtual representation of the contours of your hand. So that's what we look at to plan our dives, and this is what happens sometimes. It looked like there is some steepness here, but these features that drop off by a couple dozen meters are not apparent in the data that we have. So
yeah, they just can't be resolved both in the XY direction and also in the as you get to depth, the vertical resolution starts to, there's more errors associated. So kind of you can't quite really see these sheer cliffs, and we certainly happen upon them often. I think you're going up a smooth slope, but from what we've seen so far, we're pretty comfortable tracking a line, and at this speed where we wouldn't be putting the vehicles in danger and running into a wall.
Yep. Now I'm going down.
Yeah.
So is this the opposite side of the seamount from the octopus garden?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're not seeing evidence of seep on this side.
Has anybody figured out how the octopus find the octopus garden? I mean, like, there's a lot of
They probably
terrain.
check out Yelp and, you know, say that's the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's fascinating about it. I don't know.
Gotta be some chemical sensing, huh?
Would it be something like if they were born in a place, they had some sort of, you know,
salmon.
Yeah.
Back to salmon.
I never mentioned
Salmon coming
salmon.
home.
Look at that. We're right on the line.
Can you zoom in on that octopus on the left? The arms might be out enough to see if it's a male.
We're coming for you.
They look like aliens.
Video, get it. That one is hidden. So probably
look at that. Hiding the only one of 8 that we need to look at.
Well, that's a clue, right?
Yeah, can we see? What is that?
It looks like it has some almost sucker damage around it. See all those little, they're a little bit larger than suckers though, so they might be something completely different. But sometimes their skin will, the sucker will kind of bind the skin into a smaller area. Like you're doing a tie-dye shirt or something, so those rings can expand when they let go.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Sure. Come on, flare out there.
It seems like it might be a male, given that it's hiding that arm.
Well,
males often do that to protect it.
I would bet $5 it's a male, but
many of
I
them
don't have $5.
we've seen with that particular leg rolled up like that.
I can rotate to keep you in view.
No, I'm gonna.
Yeah, truck along.
So cool.
That's the problem with these steady speeds, is they're so dang steady. At this rate, the ship will reach the end target in around 45 minutes, and then it'll take a bit for the rest of the group to join.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
If you can pan left a little bit, I thought I saw a couple octopus in the wall here.
One right there.
Just one, okay.
Video pushing. Brooding, hanging out.
Doesn't appear to be brooding.
Yeah, not
Mantle
fully
up.
upside down, just napping.
No shimmer apparent in this side.
Its eyes are open though. Just kidding.
Oh, it's napping.
Yeah.
Full wide.
Well, Amanda is awake.
Maybe. So viewers want to know how many folks were on board last year for this discovery. Rennie, you were here, right? I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
I come with the ship.
I come with the ship. It's just a feature.
Rennie makes it happen.
Greg, were you here for this cruise?
Nope.
Okay. Paul, no. Aaron, no.
Nope.
Me, no.
Wait, she didn't even ask you.
She knows it's my first year.
Paul, no.
Yeah, Paul, no.
Don't even try.
I was on that cruise as well.
You were? Okay. Chad, yes. Amity, yes.
Yes.
Dane?
No, I didn't come on until after that.
All right. I was like, I scheduled Paul's sea days, so I knew Paul wasn't out here.
Yeah. You hired me not that long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always some planning, but a little bit of luck involved in that kind of.
So also a cool new feature, viewers, if you're whether you're new to Nautilus or whether you've been around for a long time, when you check out the expedition pages now, you can see what team members were on that particular expedition. But also if you go to a team members page, you can see what all the expeditions that they've been on. The tagging works both directions. So if you go on to Rennie's bio, just by looking directly beneath the question feed, you can see a whole bunch of Nautilus cruises that Rennie's been on over the years, and then check back in on kind of which missions people have been on.
So let's come down
that
a
You
way.
little
can
bit.
learn some fun facts about Rennie.
Yes, you can. You can learn what kind of
think
degrees
we
he
might have
has,
some
Remember what it
brooding.
says on that thing.
what year he hatched.
It was.
We zoom in on that
1597.
one, right
Yeah,
below the
there's some
lasers.
more just below the porch. That's why I'm
Oh, I see.
kind of coming down and around.
Gotcha.
What year he hatched. Oh yes, the human joke that was made. That is funny.
Video pushing.
Yep.
Yeah, push into each of those. So that one
Neat.
looks like it's probably brooding.
Yeah.
There could be. We're seeing some sediment upheaval. Could be from the octopus itself clearing.
Is there any
That fish
shimmer?
looks like it's
I
just waiting
Don't
to
see
eat.
shimmer.
Awesome mushroom anemone though.
Looks like some bare rock.
Mushroom coral, sorry.
Full wide. Let's go to the other octopus.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got some. We're okay for now.
All right, hit it.
Tucked away here.
Tucked away, but not brooding.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I saw one in Argus's cam too.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. There's
another
one
one
down
there,
there,
yeah.
but also not in the brooding position. I need to scoot forward.
Yeah, we
No
got.
One
one
more
told
tucked
me.
into the wall on the left.
Yeah, saw that one there.
Oh,
That
this
one's
one is
brooding.
twirling its arms, so this one might be very active right now.
What is the twirling egg beater behavior? Have you seen
Video
it
pushing.
associated with anything?
Yeah,
or
so that's brooding
correlated?
position.
Yeah, we're not sure what it does. We see a lot of brooding weathers.
All right, time to go. Got to get back in front.
Okay, no problem.
Full wide.
Completely motionless or mostly motionless, just breathing, and some of them seem to be twirling their arms.
Yeah, we got
so I don't know if that's a cyclical thing or one way they keep their eggs clean if they're rubbing their eggs to help oxygenate them and keep them free of sediment.
As Greg is.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you can see, this dead in front of you.
Yeah, and I can't really see him very well.
Right.
I'm going to start just coming
But yeah,
up
you can
slowly.
watch him come up, and you can watch that terrain come in front of you, and then you'll see.
Octopus.
Because no matter what, we'll be above it. That's the aim.
Yeah.
And we're going at constant speed, so that's kind of the...
Something like 3 or 4 there.
You say no matter what, with a little bit.
Yeah, a couple under the ledge.
We can do it. I believe in us.
It's definitely a lot rockier and more vertical than I thought this was going to be.
Yeah.
So are we taking higher resolution data as we go, so you'll construct, more detailed map afterwards?
Not for mapping.
Yeah, we don't have the Hercboard multi-beam on, and also we're getting too sparse data for structure for motion, 3D. We're not really doing a full pirouette around a lot of these features, and we're not covering
Look
all
at that
of the
one
ground
drops off on both sides.
Yeah.
For stereo photogrammetry or anything.
That's a pinnacle.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice feature.
Just a little larval casing that scared
larvation.
the crap out of me. Argus view. As I'm waiting for terrain.
They're scary.
We're waiting for a cliff to show up.
Yeah, and then that thing is very suddenly.
So higher up on Davidson Seamount, when we see sheer
vertical
cliffs like this, we typically see the very large corals, Paragorgia, bamboo corals, Isidella, all these guys. But
on the tops. Yep.
On the tops, but also on the sides. But usually it's a little bit higher where currents are a little bit stronger, bringing up nutrients from the deep, and you don't see this kind of sedimentation everywhere. So,
Aaron, get it.
But we're not seeing a lot of this. We're seeing a lot of black coral.
Yeah.
So that would be another brooding position,
there's
right?
another, and a hole next to it.
I think that's a seep.
It's hard to say.
It's hard to say, and assuming these mothers have been coming here for quite the long time, you wonder if they form these depressions that successful generations come back to, and over thousands and thousands of generations, they end up being able to wear away these round holes.
Yep.
Even if not the same, just someone realizing it's a good place to sit, even if it's not a complete, return of an individual.
Yep.
So
back out front.
So solitary females like that, brooding their young, I mean, raises a question for me about at what point do they get fertilized, and do they get fertilized individually, like out, in these sparse kinds of situations?
Coming up.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. I couldn't tell if that was a male or not.
I think it was not.
It looked like a female.
Yeah, okay.
Aaron's got the best monitor, so.
Very good.
Chad, what do we know about that? Could you walk through a little of what we do know about how?
Yes. I've been getting a crash course in it too. The males do have that modified third arm called the heterocotylus, in which the end is modified with the ability to place sperm in a packet and then deliver that packet into the mantle cavity of a female, where it can be fertilized then or potentially even later as she lays her eggs. I don't fully understand that process, especially if it's species dependent, on if some species they can kind of choose to accept the sperm or use it later. I have no idea if that is what happens in this species, but when she does lay them, they are fertilized, and we don't know how long it takes for the eggs to develop. I think we're reasonably guessing minimum 1 year or 2, potentially up to 3 or 4 years.
They were saying the males can only mate once with octopus. Is that?
You can see there's
a
true?
Whole
I don't know about that.
Yeah, there's a whole line of them along here.
I know some of them.
Someone had mentioned that. And
some of them they fertilize and they go off and die, but I don't know if it's just once or if they They can do it a couple of times.
If that's true, where are all the males? I mean,
singles bar.
Singles bar, yeah. They're at the next
Argus has been kiting a little towards the northwest of the line. I can bring it over to where you are.
Yeah.
Or it's just like right. It's like right on this. Yeah, it's good for Argus because it's in the deeper
water. We're starting to find a lot more pockets with an individual octopus, or like they're in a line or a bunch of them.
Yeah, we are getting closer and closer to where we found the greatest densities, and it could be that there's more diffusion or seeping up here.
So will you come back later and count all the ones that pop up in the screen and try to survey population?
That's the plan. We're hoping by the end of this dive in another 10 or 11 hours we will have covered 5 or so transect slices across this feature to at least give a minimum representation of a minimum population count. It won't give us densities, or we can't extrapolate, but we can say we counted 2,000 octopus in this area, so we know there's at least that much.
So they seem to prefer the slopes, at least for the brooding positions. And yeah, just given the lack of sediment where they are, it's like they really find these pockets. And we saw just earlier where there was an empty pocket next to a populated one. So
there's a big pocket, to the left of the lasers. It looks like 5 or 6. Yeah. I know we're flying, and that's great. I don't want to stop the ship, but if we can get a quick zoom.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful,
bamboo whip.
Yeah.
Lepidasis.
Yeah.
That's only 4 of them.
And 4, yeah.
Imposter
anemone,
Imposter anemone.
Can't tell if that's one hiding.
Oh, there's one hiding
pocket,
below in that little cave.
Full line.
We're all clear as far as Argus obstacles go. So.
Good. Because I'm going to drop off this cliff.
Okay.
Should I come down a little bit? I'm coming down.
With the sonar, can you tell how high the cliff is to the left? Or
I can't tell you how high it is without flying up it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We can start to see an Argus, but it looks like it goes a little higher than that.
Oh, there's some down there.
They're down there.
Should I follow you down a little bit?
Yeah.
This is super cool. This is part of the dive I've been so looking forward to, just to get out and get to see this landscape and see what else is around. You know, we're got really lucky sort of to get a glimpse of this just in the little bit of ground we covered last year, and great partners have been through the area to help gather a little more information since the discovery a year ago. But this is the first time we're getting a broad view.
Yeah, as long as Argus isn't too low and close to that wall, which it's fine for now.
I look okay on the mezzo, right? It's still.
Yeah, so you're
like 30
keeping
meters.
your heading, right? The same as the ship's bearing.
Yeah.
So it'll just
Slide
it's still 30
along.
meters out, and just keep an eye. So you see how it comes out in front of you in a little bit. So we'll keep an eye on that to know we have to
pull back up
when once Herc starts to encounter that.
Cool. Coming back down.
All right, Aaron, classic game.
That one is assuming the pose.
And
looks like looks like a female.
Well, That third one's rolled up again. So
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 rolled up. I think it's very likely again. See how it bends at the tip
there?
there?
Yeah.
The tentacles stop, or the suckers stop before the end of so that's the heterocotyledus at the end, so that's a male.
Hello, sir.